Okay, good morning, everyone. The July 14th, 2023 regularly scheduled meeting of the Neighborhoods Education, Civil Rights and Culture Committee will come to order. It is 9:40. Apologies for the delay. We were having some audio problems, but we have resolved them. I'm Chair Tammy Morales, Chair of the committee. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Lewis,
Present.
Councilmember Nelson,
Here in chambers.
Councilmember Strauss,
Present.
Vice Chair Sawant,
Present.
Chair Morales.
Here.
5 present.
Thank you very much. If there's no objection, today's agenda will be adopted. Hearing no objection, today's agenda is adopted. Colleagues, it is a very brief agenda. We have 21 appointments and reappointments to many of our different boards and commissions. Because we put these on the consent agenda in this committee, we will be voting on all 21 appointments at once, unless there is somebody that you would like to pull out for an individual discussion. That said, I am going to read through each appointment and the entity it's being appointed to, that person is being appointed to, just so we make sure that that is in the public record. But before we get started with that, I am going to open the public comment period. We have, I believe, two people in chambers, and it looks like we have one person on online. So I will ask that everyone be patient as we operate this system. You are able to participate in public comment by going to the city's website and signing up from our agenda. The public comment period, during the public comment period, each person will be given 2 minutes to speak. And if you are online, you can press *6 to unmute. Please state your name and the item you're addressing. As a reminder, public comment should relate to an item on today's agenda. You'll hear a chime when you have 10 seconds left. So we ask that when you hear that chime, you begin to wrap up your comment so that we can move to the next speaker. And then if you're online, once you have given your public comment, we ask that you disconnect and continue following the meeting via Seattle channel. Okay, so the public comment period is open. I see, let's start with the person online, Devin. I just lost the sheet. So if you can call the name of that person, that would be great. There we go. Garrett Hop.
Hi, my name. Yeah, Garrett Hoppy. My name's Garrett Hoppy. I'm calling to talk about the Floating on Water Residence moratorium, and so are the two people in the room. So I'm hoping you guys can take the time to listen to our concerns.
Mr. Hoppy. Mr. Hoppy, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. That's not an item on our agenda, and that isn't within the purview of this committee. That is with the Land Use Committee. Is there an item on today's agenda that you'd like to speak to?
We'd like to speak to the council members who have the ability to amend and veto the moratorium, which I believe are in the room here.
Yes, but that's not on within the purview of this committee, and the council rules state that you need to speak to an item in this committee. You're welcome to participate in the Land Use Committee or to email the committee members of the Land Use Committee, of which I am one. But this committee is about the neighborhoods, education, arts, and civil rights issues. Is there something to that you'd like to speak to?
The issue is that we've been trying to speak to members of this committee offline, and due to the fact that one person has filed a lawsuit on this issue, which is pretty valid.
Okay, I'm going to ask that the clerk cut your mic, sir, and I'd be happy to meet with you and to have a separate meeting about that particular topic, but that's not within the purview of this committee. So I will move to, well, Mari Schuler and John Chaney, are you both here to speak to those issues as well?
Neighborhoods and culture.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you both for being here. I appreciate it. And all of you online. My name is Maury Schuler, and I'm here to talk about my neighborhood and the culture of houseboats in this city. I know it's not on the agenda, but it's a culture and neighborhood issue. We are 223. It's a small neighborhood. We're spread among 5 districts, including the Duwamish River, which is District 1. And I just am coming here to appeal to your sense of good government and ask that you rescind or amend that moratorium that was passed by the whole council before it went to committee, before it had a hearing, and before we were
Okay,
even notified.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you to speak to this agenda or relinquish your time. Thank you. Okay, sir, I'm sorry, but if you're here to speak to that same topic, then I'm going to ask that you, we can talk after this committee. I'd be happy to do that with you. But I'm not refusing to allow you to speak on the agenda items, sir. If that's what you want to speak to, that's fine. And I'm happy to meet with you after this meeting. If you would like to discuss something that is in a different committee, we can meet outside this chamber as soon as this committee is over. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close public comment and we will start with the agenda. Devin, will you please read items 1 through, read the short title and I will read the different appointments.
All right. Agenda items 1 through 21. Appointments to the Pike Place Market, PDA Governance Council, Museum Development Authority Governing Council, Seattle Women's Commission, Seattle Arts Commission, Community Involvement Commission, Human Rights Commission, Seattle Disability Commission, Seattle Youth Commission, Landmarks Preservation Board, and Historic Seattle PDA Governing Council for briefing, discussion, and possible vote.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, colleagues, so I do want to read into the record each of the appointees and the board or commission they're being appointed to. Again, we will be voting on all of these at the same time, unless there's a particular person that folks want to pull out. Here we go. Appointment 2106, the appointment of Jan Hendrickson as member of the Pike Place Market Preservation Development Governing Council until June 2023. Appointment 2108, the reappointment of Devin McCombs as a member of the Pike Place Market Preservation Development Council to a term of till June 2025. Reappointment of Paul Neal as a member of the Pike Place Market Preservation Development Authority to a term through June 2024. Appointment 2624, the appointment of Caitlin Klaustermeyer to the Pike Place Market Preservation Development Authority till April 2024. Appointment 2614, the reappointment of Stephanie Ellis Smith to the Museum Development Authority Governing Council until July 2024. Appointment 2615, the reappointment of Robert Kaplan to the Museum Development Authority for a term through July 2025. Appointment 2616, the reappointment of Dorothy Holland Mann to the Museum Development Authority Governing Council till July 2025. Appointment 2617, the reappointment of Douglas Raff to the Museum Development Authority till July 2024. Appointment 2618, the reappointment of Robert Strong to the Museum Development Authority till July 2024. Appointment 2625, the reappointment of Henry McGee to the Museum Development Authority until September 2024. Appointment 2619, the reappointment of Rachel Morowitz to the Seattle Women's Commission until July 2024. Appointment 2620, reappointment of Whitney Nakamura to the Seattle Women's Commission until July 2024. Appointment 2621, reappointment of Rebecca Bryant to the Women's Commission until July 2024. Appointment 2622, the reappointment of Abriel Johnny to the Women's Commission until July 2024. Appointment 2245, appointment of Olisa Enrico Johnson as a member of the Seattle Arts Commission until December 2023. Appointment 2623, appointment of Marcus White to the Community Involvement Commission till May 2025. Appointment 2191, the reappointment of Alexander Tang to the Human Rights Commission until July 2024. Appointment 2394, appointment of Hayawat Amare to the Seattle Disability Commission until April 2024. Appointment 2193, appointment of Phi Tran as a member of the Seattle Youth Commission until August 2023. Appointment 2573, the appointment of Catherine or Katie Randall to the Landmarks Preservation Board until August 2025. And appointment 2110, the appointment of Kenny Pittman to the Historic Seattle Preservation and Development Authority for a term to November 2024. Okay. Colleagues, is there any discussion or question about the appointments?
I don't have anything to say about any particular appointment. I just want to thank everyone who is giving their time and knowledge and expertise to the city.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Nelson. Anyone else? I'm not seeing other colleagues. I want to also appreciate the work of the folks who are willing to serve on these boards and commissions. The council does take into account the advocacy, the policy recommendations, the questions or concerns that are raised by these boards and commissions. And some of them have real impact on our built environment with the recommendations and conversations that we have with them. So I want to appreciate them for all of that as well. Okay. If there are no further questions or discussion, I move that the committee recommend all of these appointments. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recommend approval of these appointments. Devin, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sawant,
Yes.
Chair Morales.
Yes.
5 in favor.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council approve these appointments will be sent to the July 25th, 2023 City Council meeting. Okay, that was short and sweet today. This concludes the this concludes the July 14th meeting of the Neighborhoods Education and Civil Rights Committee. We are adjourned. Thanks for attending, everyone.
Thank you.